Hello guys, hope you had an awesome day, awesome Wednesday. So the market has gone up somewhat. So the question is very simply put, are we going to keep on going up? Is this going to go down? Now I've already given away the whole idea of the video. I'm still thinking we're going to go here. Now, if you agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, please do listen, because I will show where I will invalidate this idea. Because we always need to say to ourselves, in all fairness, we don't know exactly what the future will come. And if we plan for both scenarios, being right and wrong, the market doesn't surprise us. And if we're not in any compromised positions and we're not getting surprised, we tend to make decisions based on fact, not emotions. And that does end up being way more profitable to our portfolios long term than the other way around. Okay. So, for those joining in live, hello, Nikki. Nice to see you here, buddy. Renee is here as well. Stanku, Peter, Woods, as always, and Firestorm. Nice to have you guys in the live with me. Let's bring down the audio. Let's get serious real quick. And let me explain why I'm saying this. Okay. Now, there's absolutely nothing bullish to this chart at this stage for me. Just because we have 4 blue candles or 5 blue candles, the argument is that this is still bearish. And here's why. When the bulls are in control, the size of the blue candles are way bigger than the red candles around them. So you can see this very clearly. You can see there's a lot of, this was a correction. So we have a scenario where there's a blend of candles. And then when we ending the correction, once we have our sea of blue candles, they're way bigger than the preceding red candles. Okay, it's the same there, and it's obviously the same there. So when we're looking at the market from a very simple point of view, I'm not trying to overcomplicate things. What happened here on the 4-hour for Bitcoin? And it is as follows, okay? When we started becoming sideways or moving to a lateral range, we had a scenario where the red and the blue, they were a blend, they were evenly matched. And once we started getting these big red candles, that's when we made our lower lows. And what happened after we tested 111,000? Okay, the market rallied up, rallied up, rallied up, and then 3 big red candles, 1, 2, and then the third one, basically took us all the way back to demand. Now we're rallying up. And yes, where we're at right now, we can argue that it's either here or there. It's a little 50-50 at this stage. But until we start seeing bigger blue candles than red candles, it's simple. Now, you can say that objectively, you might disagree with me and you might use this candle. But I mean, I'm talking about a trend now. Since the beginning of this month and middle of last month, you know, the biggest candles around here is red candles. It's simple. The bears are in control. This was the last time the bulls were in control. So the trend is still bearish. Now, there's other ways we can look at this and say, well, is this really still the case? It's simple. Switch to the line tool. What are we getting? We've made a high. Let me just get the right tool. We've made a high. We've made a low. We've made lower highs consecutively, followed by lower lows. And this is the axis. Price was negotiating around this level. And it is fair to assume that we might correct ourselves back to this area. And it's only once we go above this high that we can truly say it's bullish again. Now, I'm going to stop that right there and say, some guys might say, clearly, man, we went from 110 to 115. This is bullish. And maybe the argument is correct. You know, if you think about this from a weekly time frame, this is Bitcoin on the weekly. I mean, it's bullish. Weekly, until we go below 104, we're bullish. But because we are trading for a living and we're trying to time buying alts at the right time, Bitcoin chopping around and maybe doing this on the bigger picture for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame means nothing. It's nothing. It's a blimp. But if you're trying to get in on alts, and we're going to go to them right now, this kind of price action could result in another 30% discount on some of the alts. And that's a lot. That's something that we probably cannot afford, because what if the next rally only gives us 40%, 50%? It means you have to risk basically all the gains that's coming your way on the notion that, yes, the bigger weekly is still there, but we clearly have a 4-hour that is still trending bearish. Okay. Now, last little thing. When we're at the end of any move, be it bullish or be it bearish, 80% of the time, I don't want to delete the wrong line, 80% of the time, the market gives us strong bullish divergence. How does this look? Well, simple. Let's say we're going up. 5-wave Elliott wave. This is the easiest way to explain a bullish move. Everybody can agree with me. That is bullish. Okay. The RSI would then obviously be looking like something like this for the untrained eye. But in all reality, the trained eye would be picking this up. I'm just going to mark this with vertical lines so that it just makes it easier for me to draw. The trained eye would be seeing this. You would be looking at an RSI that does this, giving you strong bearish divergence, moving down, giving you hidden bullish divergence, chopping around again, giving you strong bearish divergence, with yet again hidden bullish divergence, and then ultimately failing to make a higher high, giving you strong bearish divergence again, and then the end. Okay. And then when we're zooming in on a correction, which is what I'm thinking, I'm still saying we're bullish, but I'm thinking we're somewhere here. This bear move, this correction that we're going through at the moment, the end, this fall, has to have a scenario where price goes and makes the lower low, but the RSI starts going in the opposite direction. And we need to start stepping up support levels. And until that happens, I just can't. I just can't say that it's bullish yet. Forgive me, but that's the reality here. So if we look at where we're at right now, what do we have here on the RSI? Okay, we've got harmony, and we've got an RSI that is giving us any more success, any more upside, is giving us hidden bearish divergence. That's what it's doing. And we know where, if we want to delete hidden bearish divergence, if we want to change that, this thing needs to pump all the way past that level, 119. I'm not saying it's impossible. And I'm rooting for that to happen. I am rooting for that to happen. But the trader in me says there's a hell of a lot of resistance living between that. Okay. We have certain things that counts in our favor at this stage. So if we go and have a look at Bitcoin and we just look at the funding rate, I've always said this to you guys, when the funding rate starts turning down or getting negative, that normally signals a really good buy. Now, we had a negative funding rate at $113,000 BTC. Okay, let's zoom out. I'll show you when the last time we had negative funding rates. You can see when the funding rate is negative, that normally signals that there is more upside coming our way. Negative funding rate, there's potentially more upside coming our way. So I'm not just going to be blindly saying that it's bearish and sell my life savings, everything to stable and walk away. I'm just saying that because of this, we could potentially still see another wave for Bitcoin. Whether we're going to make the lower low, at that stage, we'll be able to identify that or no. But the reality is there's a lot of selling pressure waiting for us in this area. Okay. Now, I've been saying to you guys, I'm expecting price to creep up to $118,000 when we were here. And I also said to you guys, there's the buy zone. I shared the destination map with you guys the beginning of the week. So it is playing out as the expectation. So because it's listening to the, I'm reading the charts right. That's basically the argument I'm having for myself. Currently, I'm not getting surprised The market is playing out as per the analysis. It then cements in the fact that I can double down on my own narrative and say, okay, yes, I know there's a hell of a lot of bullish people. I know there's some bearish people around. This is the area, if we want to create max pain, if we want to destroy as many people's hope, go down, go up, and then maybe go sweep these lows again before we go. Okay, that's it. That's the argument for me for BTC. Now, what did I have to kind of add to this? Well, when we looked at AVAX, beginning of the week, I said, guys, look at the hidden bearish divergence. Okay, hidden bearish, and we had a sell-off. We had a lower low from the argument. When we look at INJ, let's scroll all the way down to that level. I gave you guys hidden bearish divergence. This was Tuesday. We had a sell-off. Hidden bearish divergence, you have to take that shit seriously, guys, because it is a continuation of momentum that's already there. You don't wait anything over the hidden bearish divergence. When you see that, that's something you take seriously. The same for hidden bullish divergence. So yes, on the macro view, I'm saying we're bullish. That's why I'm still betting bullish. I'm just saying Bitcoin has still got some unfinished business. And that unfinished business could be in the form of that. In order for this to be a top, price will probably go make a higher high first, trap you, and then come and test these lows again. Look at how many times you test a low when you're in the beginning of a new 5-wave impulse. You don't just go once. There's multiple times before it bangs in that bottom, and then we run. We need sideways before we bang in the bottom and run. And that's the basic warning for me for today. Okay. So I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but I'm still betting that this is what's going to happen. Okay. And it's as simple as that. Now, the flip side. What if I'm wrong? Well, simple. If I'm wrong, the market is going to do this to the upside, which means we will have a little bit of a retrace where it fills that imbalance. And that's when I enter. Now, I don't care at what price as a trader I'm entering something. I rather just want to make sure that when I do enter it, the momentum is there. Meaning, buying Bitcoin at $110,000 here is a better deal because it did this than buying Bitcoin at $101,000, but it did this. Okay, maybe if that was your TP argument, this is just as good a deal. But you get where I'm going with this. Or buying it there. This is still a better deal than this, but it's the outcome that we're looking after or looking for. And when I'm looking for the outcome, the risk to reward ratio at this stage is not weighted that that's going to happen just yet. Okay, that's my weekly time frame, my analysis for Bitcoin for the 4 hour. So if that makes sense, I'm going to head over to the comments. Then we're going to conclude this, and then we're going to look at some alts. Today's stream is going to be much shorter. Okay, so let's see. Peyton, Jay Peyton, good day to you. Louis, Anita, Afi. See you joined the live. Hello, buddy. Danielle, nice from Australia. Anita's from Canada. Sure, 4 a.m. Anita, what happened? Why you're up so early? Let's see what else we have. Mormon here. I have my order set at 109,000 daily order block. Nice to see your tweet about 111K. Well, yes, I really do hope that that plays out. I've got some orders waiting there as well. I have been shorting this for forever. And like I say, for HODL's sake, I want to be done shorting. And this is now the flip side, just to end off with the thing. So what do you do right now? Well, where we're at right now, you do nothing. You sit on your hands. Okay, so this morning in the Discord, we were talking about this. And Mr. Crypto Crusader, you do just what he is saying. You sit on your hands because we at that point where it's 50-50 right now. So if you act right now, you're gambling. You're betting. You always want to play the odds that's in your favor, so that when it's wrong, you've got an excuse to say, well, I did the right thing because I played the most obvious odds, and I've got a risk-reward ratio that if I'm right, it's beneficial, and if I'm wrong, it's not. But here, where do you invalidate this long if you want to go long? You have to say it's somewhere there at 112. You can't leverage that much drawdown. Okay? And then where do you invalidate the bearish thought? Well, that's living at 119. That's a really expensive stop. You can't use this because this is a meaningless top. This is the axis. This is where price is revolving around, and that's where the divergence lives. So all of this is still bearish, bearish, bearish until we make a higher high. Okay. So on that point, that's why Ethereum has been a problem child to us. There's the hidden bearish divergence. There's the wave. It seems to have played out. We need the higher high at 4,100 on the higher time frame. There the line is. We need that higher high, or else Ethereum is still going to screw us around. Now, when we look at Ethereum to the BTC pairing, let's quickly have a look at that. And we're going to switch to the weekly time frame. What we want to see is this. I want to see ETH outperform Bitcoin really good. And one blue candle. Now, there's a lot of info there and a lot of notes there. So one blue candle does not make a bullish trend. You can agree with me on that. So it means that for most of the coins, we need to delete this hidden bearish divergence that's plaguing everything. And only then we'll really see that the market's going to move. Now, just to have a look at the dominance real quick, I'm going to go weekly time frame because it's a macro trend indicator. I don't want to be looking at it on the smaller time frames. What do we have? We've got lower low. The dominance is making what? It's about to make hidden bearish divergence. This RSI is going to move down. So we're probably going to be chopping around in this area, and there's going to be a little bit of upside again. Okay. Take this back to Ethereum to the BTC pairing on the 4-hour time frame. This means that where we're at right now, we could potentially see a higher high again, and then have this retrace to the demand. And now we've got an established trend, and then we break out, and then the macro alt season only happens where ETH really performs really well. It all makes sense. They all fit nicely together. Okay. Now, let's have a look at some more stuff. Let's have a look at the total market cap. What do we have on the total market cap? Just like Bitcoin, strong bullish, bearish divergence. What needs to happen on the total market cap? We need to stay above 3.6 trillion. So we remain bullish. It's all good. Any of this divergence is all good. But fall below it, shit's going to get bad. Okay. So we know Bitcoin has it. We know the total market cap is it. But if we take Bitcoin out of the picture, what do we have on the total 2? We've got Harmony. We're just consolidating. So the total 2 is still fighting. And I pointed out the beginning of the week with you guys, and let's go to the candles, that the total 2 needs to stay above 1.3 trillion. And that there is the potential that we go and test this area. Because why? It was a significant support area, and we probably will go and test it. Now, why is the total 2 significant? Well, it's everything. It's the entire crypto market cap minus Bitcoin. So now we can see where the altcoin season is really going to happen. Total 3 is when we take Ethereum out of the picture as well. What's happening with total 3? Same thing. No higher highs just yet. Support lives there. We will probably grab that. Remember, great sell zones, when they fail, turn into great buy zones. That's what we're trying to look for. Okay. So, yes, macro, we're bullish. But looking at it right now, looking at how the market's going to impact us within the next week or so, maybe today we're going to see a little bit of an upside. But from that point onwards, there's still room for more downside. There's still a little bit of punishment coming our way. Okay. So my targets for Bitcoin. Let's maybe finish up with Bitcoin targets before we move on. My targets for Bitcoin, 111, 109. Unless we make a higher high, that is still in play. This thing's trending bearish now for a couple of weeks now. Okay. Targets for Ethereum, What are we going to do now? Ethereum has made hidden bearish divergence. Okay. It's played out, it's held support. It's looking good, But Ethereum needs to go make that higher high at 4,100. If it doesn't, what are we going to do? ETH is going to go back to 3,300 thereabout, just like Solana did, okay? Made the higher high, fell right back to those levels. That is the argument. ETH needs to go finish that business. If it doesn't, this is the same play. Ethereum could be somewhere there now in this wave kind of thing. It still needs to move back down. You have to be open to that idea. Now, it can be. Then you can find that this is scenarios where Bitcoin goes down a few percent, maybe ETH has a liquidation event or something like that, and it's just a wick. That can happen as well. I don't know the future. You don't know the future. But you have to plan around that area, okay? So that's my target for Ethereum, 3,300. Solana has already done its work. It cannot go below 155. If it does, this shit's bearish. Then it's really bad. Then alt season is dead and Solana's it's gonna go down low. So you've got a better deal with Solana than with Bitcoin and Ethereum at the moment because you're at that close to that point. I mean, this was Wednesday. I said that's the bounce, and we bounced. Okay. Cardano, the same picture. We're sitting right at these bottom areas. We cannot afford any more downside. And we're trying to break out of this retail idea of a trend, retail trend line. Let's just call it what it is. Retail trend line. That line, as soon as we go above it, people become bullish. That's great. So maybe we trend on top of that line for a while until Bitcoin finds its mojo back. What would be really good is, in the end of the day, guys, when it's fast, it won't last. That's typically the move. You can see that. If Bitcoin has this and goes down, immediately what happens is, even if it fails here, or even if it just makes a double bottom, if we can make a higher high that is more sustainable, more easily reachable for Bitcoin, then at least the argument comes that we don't need to flush the market. Then it becomes a kinder space. But if you have a scenario where Bitcoin needs to go from 112 to 120 in order to make a higher high, that's asking a lot. So it's fair to assume that it's going to be chopping around. So I can draw many scenarios. I can color the bloody thing in green for that matter. And somewhere in there will be a line that would be perfectly aligned to what happened or what's going to happen. But the end of the reality is that for these kind of, for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, there's two different agendas here. Okay? Bitcoin needs to make a more sensible higher high. So I want to see this play out. Ethereum needs to make a higher high in order for us to get out of this long-term slump. The alts like Solana have already done their retracing. So they will probably perform better and the invalidation is lower. So it's cheaper to get into them than buying into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, that's it. And then, then there's these ones like Sonic. Fell below support. It's no longer support, guys. This is now resistance again. As long as it's resistance, it's going to trend around their axis and it could go and look for demand again at lower levels. I won't be hanging around like this. This is your test. It's exactly the same thing. Because let's say we do find a rally for some reason. Bitcoin does find a rally. This thing needs to do this before I'll even look to buy in on this. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean that just because it's a bargain doesn't mean that it's cheap for that matter. It can still go cheaper, okay? Now have a look at Link real quick. Same as Cardano. It's getting ready for a breakout, which is really good. Does look really good. But we could go and test these lows still because of Bitcoin. I'm hoping this doesn't happen. I'm hoping Bitcoin proves me wrong. But we need to go make that higher high. Maybe tomorrow I'm back with egg on my face. And then we've got the higher high. That's it. That's why take risk on Solana. Take risk on Cardano. You can take risk there because the risk is cheap. Take risk on Link. Okay. You can take some risk on even XRP for that matter. take some risk there. 4 if I'm wrong. But understand that this is a spot risk and that obviously the market can turn. No financial advice. Okay, guys, so I hope that that makes sense. You guys know where I'm at with this. Let's quickly go through a few of the coins that I've mentioned on the stream. So make sure that everybody is updated. So have a look at PENGU or PENGU. Okay, staying above that pivotal support area. 4 more. This thing does look strong. Although it's at highs, remember when you have these launch highs, you get a rejection there. There's HBAR, there's SUI. Yeah, it does reject at the 50% and then build a base. It doesn't mean that this has to listen to that. We could go and just annihilate this and go on higher as well. So it's a good time to take some risk on PENGU. But what you need to know is fall below that 30, then 15 is your area to buy. Just keep that at the back of your head. Meme coins do have crazy gains. They've just been giving us crazy gains in the last while. Okay. Then there's a few other coins that I just want to bring to your attention. Uni being one of this. Sleeping giant, guys. Uni, I've said it now many times. I'm going to keep on saying this. I explained to you guys at the beginning of the week that the threshold for the retrace is not done yet. We could still see things go down until the end of August. Okay, mid of August, 25th of August, let's rather say that. But bigger picture, when you look at this thing from the daily time frame, look at all that accumulation. Okay, look at what that gave. So that was unsustainable gains for the amount of accumulation. All of this, the market will overcorrect itself. You could find yourself in a uni that goes up to $40, $60, $80. There's a lot of money to be had there. This coin is not going away. It's like Bitcoin. At least you can say it might go down in value, but it's not going to go away. That's a good coin to be in right now. Okay. Then coins that I don't know whether they're going to be here to stay forever, but we're going to abuse them. I just want to use them for money, to make money. Okay. Here's NEWT. What did I say? Consolidate in this range. This is where you buy and you wait for the higher high. What did we do? We went to the launch wick. Just like PENGU, just like Solana, SUI did, just like HBAR did, many of these coins did. It goes and then it retests this bottom, just like they did as well. So consider grabbing some and see what this thing does. Okay, Binance is punting this thing hard, guys. Okay, I have access to the back channels of these exchanges through affiliate links, meaning what they want the affiliates to sell and discuss. There's channels where they discuss these things. So talk about this coin, talk about that coin. If you do, you get rewards and the advantage that brings is me sharing that information to you. Then you know that there is some marketing being driven behind these coins. That's why this pump happened. Okay. That's why I took profit there, and I shared that with you guys, and you had more than enough time. So now we're in that area to accumulate. It's cheap. So what if I'm wrong with Bitcoin? I'm fine with being wrong with Bitcoin because then I will be right with NEWT. This is the support. Simple. Anywhere between 33 and 32, it's okay. Chop around, chop around. The more you chop, the better. But once this thing starts getting steam again, it's going to run, and it's going to be fast, unsustainable gains. So you're going to have to be aggressive taking profit. Okay. That's one to keep an eye on. Hyperliquid, big gainer for forever, went to the 50% level, just like that. PENGU is bouncing off this pivot support right now, as I explained that. And I pointed out that that would be a good area. But if we don't make the higher high and we lose that range, you get out. And this is what's happening. So people are forgetting about this now. Hyperliquid's now no longer the trending thing. So it's now on its way to try and get to that range, just like NEWT did, just like all the others. So just be careful of that one. Let's have a look at ENA. Now, ENA has gone through an accumulation phase. It's trend within range and trend out of range. So it's really strong at this stage. That was the buy I shared with you guys. I brought this to you guys here again. Buy some ENA there, buy some ENA there. And even if we go back down to 40, that's still the argument. Really good buy. Anything around the 40s or the 50s is great because realistically, it's going to go to 90, thereabout. Double your money, sell half, walk away. Because then the rest of the ENA, if you have great bull market aspirations that we're going to be rallying for 3 years on end, that's fine. Now you've got a free ENA ticket to see how far that bus is going to go. And you've got your capital back to look at something else. Okay. And I say, when you're on a sinking ship, cut the thing. Look at Celestia. While all of this is happening, it's back down another 30%. This thing's going to keep bleeding you out. So get out of this, the underperformers, because Celestia and Sonic is exactly the same thing. It's trending down. It's rejecting at resistance. It's not ready to go up. Their moment will come. And the way that we will know that is it's going to start going sideways and go up one step. Let somebody else take that risk. Be that crazy. I don't want to be that crazy with my money. Let somebody else do that. When it starts doing this, trend within range, like ENA is doing, like AERO did, that's when we want to get back in. Okay. Talking about that. So AERO, I was really hard up giving you guys 70 cents buys back here. Things were looking really good. And now we're back at that area. And that's the cautionary tale to ENA. This thing could potentially go and visit this range. Doesn't necessarily mean that I want to offload. Okay. So AERO or Aerodrome or Aero Finance, whatever the name would be. I'm just trading this thing on the TA. I'm not looking at the other stuff. This thing right there is at support. It's as cheap as it can be. It's stepping up the levels. So the next level is going to be there. TP is there. So if you buy it at 70 and it goes to 30 or $1.35, that's double your money. You can sell half and walk away and have free AERO for the rest of the bull market. There is still time, guys. We still have up until October, maybe even September. This is a time analysis. I don't know. There's 3 months difference between that. It could be one early, one later. There's a lot of time that it could, that we have, that Bitcoin could still move and the market could still give us some really good gains. So keep an eye on this. New child on Binance. Meme core. Not on Binance, sorry. New child. It's on Mexi. And I think a few other exchanges. Keep an eye on this one. It's about to enter my entry zone. I said to you guys when we were here, I think it's going to come back down. I want to buy this. 44. I want to sell at 80. I want to double my money and walk away. That's all that I want to try and do. The risk is very simple. We don't want to lose any demand zones. So the cheaper you can get it to invalidation, great. If you can sit and wait for that thing to creep in deeper, great. But for me, the simplest point is I want to get in and let this thing, staring at candles doesn't make them grow or shrink, for that matter. So I want to get in and I want to try and ride this thing to there so I can get the gains and walk away. Okay. It's as simple as that, guys. Okay. So over to the comments. I think we're going to end off the stream. Let's see. Liesel says, me too, 111. Anita, I need 13 more hours to buy. Let's see. Hope the pump will not start today. Yeah, that would be nice. Tau. Let's have a look at Tau. I spoke about Tau the other day. So let's quickly see where we're at. Tau, the analysis failed. So basically, I wanted to grab the buy on demand, and this is the worry that I share. So why did INJ bounce at that same time that Tau didn't? Okay, the market can just be that way, guys. That's why I say you have to play both sides. You have to understand that there's risk. So if you're just blindly buying shit, then you're gonna eventually, paint yourself into a corner for that matter. So this one failed. Now we're below what needs to be a 1, which means that this thing is correcting. It's not impulsing. So either I had this wrong, this main wave. Let's do this. Either I had this wrong, but then I had the top wrong. Stuff doesn't work. So until the TA makes sense again, everything lines up. I'm just going to put a pin in it and say, okay, go prove to me that you want to be bullish, and then I can always relook at this. There's no gain that doesn't come without some drawdown and some risk, guys. And Tau being a good example of just that, failed. Okay, how's FARTCOIN looking? It's looking like a fart. There's nothing there. I looked at the other day. It's not really looking good. So let's do that. Let's bring up FARTCOIN. Okay. I'll use Bybit. Okay. Remember, guys, you want to support the content. What you can do is you can open your Bybit account using my affiliate link. If you've already got a Bybit account, you can actually go to the Discord. I've got the link here in the navigation section. Click Get on Navigation, Get Partner Roles. Then you can click Bybit Role. It will open a one-on-one ticket with your name in it. Okay, oops. And then you can basically follow the steps there to claim your access. Or alternatively, you can scroll down to the community section in the Discord there and click on partners, click on Bybit, and transfer your KYC to the new account that you use to qualify to get the buddy indicator and to support the content. It goes a long way in saying thank you. And this is just a link to the Bybit website. You can go and have a look at this on the Bybit as well, on their website. And what that does is it doesn't just give you this, it gives you access to the buddy indicator. And we can use the buddy indicator very simply to have a look at this. What does this thing say? FARTCOIN. It switched orange there, and it's been orange ever since. So until this thing stops being orange, it's going to keep on trending down. And just like Tau, okay, it's making lower lows in the sense that this move is probably not done. There were certain areas where we couldn't fall below. We've now fallen below that range, and we could potentially go all the way back to 50 and even 30 cents with this one before there will be a next rally. Okay, so just be careful about this. When the momentum is gone, things don't really move, and this is some serious bullish or bearish momentum. Just like it was there, it's now like this. So at this stage, being a bear didn't really make sense. Now being a bull doesn't really make sense. And until that changes, I have to then just stay away. You know, that's the thing. So I hope that helps. Let's see some info. The VCs dumped the market in January to April. Don't get fudded out. The most gains are made in the Q4. Yes, maybe you're right. But I'm not using FUD or fundamentals to base this. I'm using on if it goes up, it will step up support levels. And then when it's there, you know, the crypto market gains. Let's scratch this, Selena. The crypto market gains are so amazingly well, okay, or good. You can be second and still make a killing. I would rather be second every time and make sure that I get the market. I want to buy there as opposed to there. If this means that I'm going to be in the market and I'm going to guarantee the outcome, then trying to time the bottom and say, oh, I'm not going to get fudded out. You know what? Complacency, the beginning of a bull top, everything is going to be exceptionally bullish. Everybody's going to say, hey, why the hell would you sell? You stupid. And that's typically how a top happens. And then by the time everybody catches on that this news and the fundamentals doesn't help, we've down 20 support levels. You're down 50% on your wallet. It's at that stage where you say, oh, now it doesn't even pay to sell anymore. That's how traps happen. That's how bull market tops happen. So I'm just guarding against that. You have to act on what you believe in. And I'm just giving you the info. You make the decisions. I'm not telling you what to do here. So it's not financial advice. I'm giving you the info so that you can take this and make a decision for yourself. You know, that's the hope. And if I succeeded in that, Selena, that's all that I want to achieve. And I really do hope I did. Okay. Thanks so much for taking the time with me, guys. I'm going to end off the stream there. If you want to continue the discussion, as always, head over to the Discord. I see there's... And then, yeah, if you sign up, guys, remember you need to give me your ID and your TradingView username, or else I cannot give you access to it. I get a lot of role applications. I deleted the empty ones yesterday. I get a lot of them, but then I don't get information It's just the guy clicks on the button. If you don't give me the stuff as it's written in here, I cannot assign this to you. I can see the guy signed up, but I don't know who it is. So please remember to do that. Go to the Discord, links in the video description. Click on the partner roles and give me the info. Then I can hook you up. Okay. Right. That's everything. Let's see if there's one more comment. Okay. And listen to Peter. Hit the like before you leave, guys. Thanks so much for taking time. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Cheers.